Well, the Badgers got back in the NCAA tournament. That's 20 out of 21 seasons now that Wisconsin has made the big dance, but unfortunately this year's stay was a brief one, as what looked like a tight down-to-the-wire game got away from Wisconsin late on a day where, again, the Badgers simply could not shoot straight, and Oregon finally took advantage, pulling away to a 72-54 victory. We'll get some locker room reaction from the Badgers after the season ender, and we'll have our sit-down with head coach Greg Gard as Wisconsin wraps up a season that ended 23-11. All coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
This is Wisconsin basketball. Stolen by Ethan Happ. Happ to the rim, and he hammers it down with the right hand. He'll drive to the goal and hammers it down. And running into Davison, who takes the charge again. The feed to Trice, who splashes a triple. Out the fourth with 3 left of the circle. Tie game.
The Badger Sports Report with Greg Gard is presented by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2019 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
This is where amazing happens, where ideas turn into realities. This is where they developed a better way to observe blood flow, a better way to visualize pediatric heart surgeries before they even happen. You see, at UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital, they're not just changing the lives of their patients, they're changing the way the world treats complex pediatric conditions. UW Health. Remarkable.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable! And the winner by unanimous decision, Hy-Vee!
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There's no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
I mean, I felt pretty confident in our team and our guys to fight back, especially, like you said, we've been in that situation before. So I definitely feel like we had a chance to make a run or to get things going for ourselves, but they turned out the other way for us.
I mean, credit to them. They did make a lot of plays. A lot of things happened where they knocked down shots and got offensive rebounds. And, yeah, like you said, this year we've been mainly focused on our defense, and our defense has been really solid throughout the year. And I think we had lapses throughout that game where in the NCAA tournament you can't have.
You know, people say when you, like, if you have a near-death experience that your whole life flashes before your eyes. And once I knew that I was subbing out for the last time, that's kind of what happened. I started thinking back to coming here my first summer and had my dad drop me off. And it kind of just went all the way up until that very moment, and it was tough, yeah. But I was definitely kind of numb to it all.
It always hurts. The thing everyone always says, you know, you have 2 more years or 3 more years, but every year is individual. You have 1 year with other people in this locker room, and you know what hurts the most, knowing that you're not going to get to play with the seniors again, and that you let them down in a lot of ways because they don't deserve to go out in the first round. The time they put in, what they've done for the program, what they've done for us individually, That's what makes it sting the most, knowing that we're not going to get to share a locker room with them again, and that we didn't take advantage of opportunities that would have helped them keep them around longer.
We take pride in our defense, and I felt like we did a good job of that in the first half. But I just say we got away from our principles on the defensive end in the second half and had some breakdowns. And then they were able to get some offensive rebounds and have some momentum plays that got them going.
Hurts to end the season in this fashion. That was a 7-8 minute stretch there where we got discombobulated defensively. Obviously, we had a hard time making perimeter shots for most of the game, but we were still battling and finding ways. But then we had 3 or 4 possessions consecutively where we didn't get good looks or turned it over, and they were able to capitalize, and then they get separation. It's hard to play from behind against a good team. So we knew that coming in. We had to making shots was going to be a big component and a big part of what we do in order to have success against the zone and to try to loosen them up a little bit. Thought we had some good looks, but not able to make them go down, and then obviously defensively some breakdowns that are uncharacteristic of us all year.
There's a lot of disappointing things when you lose your last game, but definitely defense, letting them go off the way they did and doing some uncharacteristic things. And I know there was some pressing and whatever, but 70-some points is, we're not built to, play like that.
He's been a great mentor. He's been kicking my in practice from the day I got here. So now it's hard to see him leave. For how much he's done for this program. Yeah, it'll definitely be different without him.
There's positives in everything in life, and there's always things to be thankful for and things you can't take for granted. But with that being said, you put a lot of time in for this moment, and to come up short and to let things slip away and know that you didn't perform your best, it definitely hurts. But extremely thankful for this season and what we've been through. But yeah, there's a lot of things to be thankful for this season too.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
Make it 20 out of 21 seasons now, the Wisconsin Badgers have earned the right to play in the NCAA tournament. Chew on that for a second. 20 out of 21 years after not getting in last year, the Badgers right back in the dance this season as we visit with head coach Greg Gard. And I know this is a whirlwind. I know for everybody it's like sleep deprivation time here. But could you allow yourself, your staff, your players, at least a few minutes to kind of take it in? So you earn the right, 23 wins, as a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think you have to, Matt. I think that's one thing I tried to emphasize with our guys on Selection Sunday was, these things don't just happen. You have to really work and really earn your way in, and they don't magically just appear. It's not a guarantee. And I think the biggest thing internally as a program, we've never taken this for granted, even in that string of 19 straight years. There were several years where we got in by the skin of our teeth, but you just don't, when you're in it every day, you don't take it for granted, because it's really hard to do. And for this group to do what they've done, grown together, become one of the better defensive teams in the country, one of the better defensive teams in program history, and to be able to be one of the top 20 teams in the country pretty much consistently throughout the year, playing anywhere from the 3rd to the 6th hardest schedule in the country, I think is really a testament to what our guys have done and how they've grown, and extremely proud of them because they've overcome a lot of odds to become a really good team. Yeah,
I think of any year that you want to be good defensively, which you would any year, but you probably better be in this league this year, the way it's been with you guys, Michigan State. You go on down the line, we've talked about it at length, but this was, and you emphasized this from day one, before day one, right? And there's been a little bit of a payoff now.
Yeah, I think you look at 20 games and what that did. I think that's why we have 8 teams, or had 8 teams here in the postseason play in the NCAA tournament, and obviously some are playing in the NIT. But that was really the idea behind 20 games was to really give the conference an RPI boost or a strength of schedule boost. They're really not using the RPI as much anymore. There's so many analytics at play here. But what what it did for the league as a whole, I think that really helped get 8 teams in. And obviously for the top teams, top 3 or 4 teams, it really boosted them up. Even though we didn't have a 1 seed, we have extremely strong representation. I think we saw that in league play through the 20 games, 1 through 14. You saw it in the conference tournament. And I think obviously it's going to bode well for us here in the postseason.
You mentioned a couple of minutes ago about the strength of schedule, and I think no matter what platform you view here, they're going to view your team as playing the top handful. If it's 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever it is. I was asking myself during the year, I think, I wonder if they could turn back time if they would have dialed this back. I know we've talked about the reasoning of it, but was the schedule, did it even become more difficult? I mean, you knew it would be hard.
Right.
It was every bit as hard, I think, as you thought, but did you ever wonder, like, could have maybe used another bye game here or there, or was that
there's
possible?
Certain points where, I think the biggest thing with as this schedule came together, most of the non-conference was put in place or was subject to be put in place with the exempt events we had, and obviously, or event we had, also the challenge games, the Gavitt Cut and the ACC. That was all in place before we got the word that we were going to 20 games. So I think, as you go through it and as you look at it at the start, you go, wow, this may be, if we can survive it and get through it, it's going to really help us, which we did. And we've done a great job of getting through it and being very successful. It was going to pay dividends in the end. It was a matter of could you withstand, go through it injury-free, go through it and try to avoid major blips and major slumps. And we had a couple where we lost 1 or 2 or 3 in a row, but we were able to bounce back from that. And then, and obviously, I think as a whole, it really helped us as we entered postseason.
And the league gets in 8 in the tournament, and others who didn't get in were problems, to say the least. So maybe the strength of the league, top to bottom, we've talked about it all year, that has helped certainly the resume. There's not a 1 seed in there, but the league's very well represented.
And I think the other thing, you look across the country at other leagues where maybe teams had really good conference years or their record was really shiny, but you look at their non-conference schedule and it wasn't very good. And they didn't play this caliber of strength of schedule that we played. And I think those, when you start to factor and weigh all the pieces together, the power of the league, the fact the 20 games, plus what we did in the non-conference and who we played and where we played them, really solidified our resume and easily in the tournament. But also you look at teams that didn't get in outside the Big Ten and you see why they didn't get in. It gives even more validation of why you play such a hard schedule.
You're more veteran players, and it even happened last Sunday after this selection was announced. A guy like an Ethan Happ, for instance, will be asked by any one of us, maybe in the media, about things you pass along to younger guys. Brad, Kobe, Nate, others who haven't experienced this before. And I guess you could tell them some things, but I mean, as a coach, you probably know, okay, it's good to get a heads up on stuff, but until you actually walk out on the floor in that environment, you're never fully going to appreciate it.
No, you don't. You can talk about it, you can prepare for them. I think the good thing of playing 2 games in the Big Ten tournament and being in that environment, it's kind of set the stage for what we see here in the NCAA tournament. But again, you can't replicate it. You can't talk enough about it. The biggest thing I try to emphasize is don't change who we are. We're successful because of A, B, and C. We have to make sure we stay true to who we are and what's made us good. Because if you deviate and you try to all of a sudden now in middle to late March become somebody else or a different team, it usually is going to backfire against you. You have to stay true to what's made you good.
You always have laser focus when you're out on the floor, but can you give yourself 10 seconds, 15 seconds when you're on the floor, introductions are being made? I mean, it's pretty good. Beats working.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole thing of just like we talked about before, not taking this for granted and really appreciating all the people and all the things that go in it. It's not just myself or my staff. Obviously, our players they're the most important piece of it, but there's so many other pieces and so many other people that work hard for 12 months a year to try to make this happen. That, like I said, you step back and really gain an appreciation that it's not guaranteed, and don't take it for granted. There's a lot of things that have to go well, and you have to play really well for a long stretch to make it possible for you to be in postseason play.
All right, Coach Gard will rejoin us in a few minutes as today's edition continues of the Badger Sports Report. He'll be back with this week's Great Game, Great Question of the Week. Stick around.
Hy-Vee's Choice Reserve and Prime Reserve Beef, arguably the best beef in America. Their quality and flavor are undisputable, undeniable. Let's get ready to be unstoppable!
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2019 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Ever since she can remember, she's wanted to become a doctor, a surgeon to be exact. Maybe it's because she's good at science, or because she loves math, or maybe it's because Lydia was born with a serious craniofacial anomaly, a cleft lip and palate that required a series of complex surgeries. And now she just wants to help others, just like the surgeons at UW Health helped her. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
The Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or L Directors Cup on Twitter. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
Even after 50 years, it's hard to find someone as upbeat as Mike Leckrone.
You can't know. You'll never know how much fun I've had. I mean, and I don't know if I even know how much fun I had.
Plenty to smile about as the band has marched to their own beat.
There are a lot of inside jokes that we all have with everybody that we laugh at that nobody else thinks are funny or wonder why we think it's funny.
In the first few bars of Leckrone's career, those laughs made up for a lack of Wisconsin's success on the playing field.
We had lousy football teams. Maybe I shouldn't say lousy, but they were. We hadn't won a game in 2.5 years.
But 25 years ago, Badger sports started its crescendo.
It's touchdown!
The one that always jumps to my mind is that first time we went to the Rose Bowl, 93-94.
The Wisconsin Badgers have defeated the UCLA Bruins.
I personally had given up on thinking I'd ever get to the Rose Bowl. I'd been here 25 years by the time we got to that first Rose Bowl, and I thought, well, it's never going to happen. I can live with that. The thing that I remember most is the emotion, not only of the band and myself, but of the fans. I'll never forget when we turned the corner in the Rose Bowl parade, and the crowd erupted because it was largely packed with Wisconsin fans.
Ever since, the band has played in perfect harmony.
You know you're going to be going to bowl games. You know you're going to be going to hockey tournaments. You know that you go to the stadium or you go to the arena, and there's going to be a lot of people there cheering, and there's an atmosphere. You want to be part of that atmosphere. Probably added a couple years to whatever I'm doing.
And even through the times that were no laughing matter, the band brought a measure of relief to their conductor.
I think the toughest thing is I lost my wife a couple years ago. And we had been married for, I got to stop and think now, 62 years. It was hard to overcome. I think the thing that helped me through that particular period was the students rallied. They were very supportive. They made me understand that they were on my team.
As Leckrone's team plays their final notes, the support pours in.
Literally, not a day goes by that somewhere somebody doesn't say to me, we've enjoyed what you've done, good luck, have happy retirement, all those kind of things. It's overwhelming is the only word I can think of.
Going out on a high note for sure, and what's next for Leckrone? What else?
I haven't really had a chance to sit back and think about it. It's going to be something involved with music. I don't know to what extent.
And of course, more than a few smiles.
Or I may just sit in the backyard and read a book.
For the Badger Sports Report, I'm Eric Ryla.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2019 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There's no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
The Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or L Directors Cup on Twitter. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The Badger Sports Report with Greg Gard is presented by UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time for this week's Great Day and Great Question of the Week. We check in with Diane in Delafield, wants to know, Coach, is it worth it for the Big Ten Conference to have its league tournament championship game late and leading into the selection show?
Well, thanks for your question, Diane. You know, I think that we found that it really isn't impacting or not impacting seeding as we go into that right before the selection Sunday. I think that the benefit is the Big Ten gets the last championship game prior to the selection show. But what we found over the years that really, probably by that time, the committee has 1 or 2 spots reserved for those teams in there, and maybe they flop spots, so to speak. But by and large, pretty much everything is cemented in before that, and we get the center stage. Obviously, we get national attention with the championship game, and that's obviously the premise of the real goal behind the Big Ten tournament is try to win that championship. And but in terms of, I think, really impacting seeding, we found it's not really making a big deal to it. And I think probably if you're in it, obviously you want to win it. But also you balance that age-old question, is it better to rest, you know, get an extra day, especially if you get a Thursday assignment. If you play 3 in a row, it does take a toll, and can you quickly bounce back and get ready and be fresh for the next week? I think there's answers on each side of the coin, so to speak, or votes on each side of the coin, what's good. If you're winning, it's great. If you play really well the next week with a little bit of rest, that's also a benefit too.
Absolutely. We thank you for your question, Diane. A great day with the location up in Wausau, as well as 4 in the Madison area, east side of town, downtown Fitchburg, as well as Hilldale. That'll do it for us this week. Join us again next week as we continue with the Badgers Sports Report. Thanks for watching.
It's times like these when you've got to stay centered. The 2019 Nissan Rogue, with available Pro Pilot Assist that can help keep you centered in your lane. Experience it only at your local Nissan store. Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
There is a boy who likes tractors and trains, a boy whose heart was far too strained. He was sick, you see, with a heart that broke. His heart needed fixing, his family needed hope. Enter our doctors with their newfangled tests. Enter our teams whose care is the best. Healthy and happy, the little boy's back, playing with tractors and trains on his track. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.